Hello, colleagues, and hello, students. Welcome to my weekly communication to the college community. Good to see you, and I hope that you are as excited about week 2 as I'm feeling right now as I look forward to us celebrating the end of our first week where we had our students back on campus, and the energy was palpable. So I have a few things I want to share with you about some observations, reflections, and the things that I do, and kind of following a typical format that I'm going to do. This has been a glorious week. We had students on campus, and literally the energy just changes when students come back to campuses. It vibrates in a way that I think is very empowering and also energizing for all of them. So I want to thank you, students, for returning to us, and thank you to our colleagues for showing up and meeting our students just where they are to ensure their success. I've had a mix of internal and external engagements over the last week, and I thought I'd share some of them with you on Black and Gold Day. First, I'll share with you that I had a briefing with the 100 Black men of Las Vegas. Very excited about expanding our partnership with them and thinking deeply about how we increase the pathway to college with that group and others, particularly as we look at Black men. I met with the Hispanic Legislative Caucus. I want to thank them for their thoughtful reflections about policy issues that are particularly important to them and also to Nevada State College. I met with the the president of the Henderson Chamber of Commerce, Scott. It was wonderful. We started thinking about some very different ways of how we can synergize to really produce different outcomes economically for the region. I spent some time on a call with the governor's office and their Office of New Americans, and thinking about how we at Nevada State College can play an intimate role in how we receive new immigrants to this country and certainly to our region. I had a wonderful briefing with our University Police Chief, Adam Garcia. Just loved it. Very thoughtful about how they want to show up in terms of community-informed policing, thinking deeply about emergency management. So I want to thank him for taking the time to come out and spend with me, and looking forward to developing a long-lasting relationship with him. And then certainly, of course, one of the highlights of the week was the grand opening of the Betty Engelstad Health and Science Building, and our partnership, the very unique one, with CSN. That was awesome as a way of really recognizing and celebrating the role that the health and health sciences are playing in our communities right now. One of the things we know is the pandemic has revealed to us just how vulnerable but also dependent we are on these heroes who serve us. So thank you all for being a part of that, and those who came before me that have the vision to really collaborate with our partners in that way. I had 2 listen and learn sessions, one with our foundation board members who were able to come in, and also some of our folks who support student support. So very thoughtful to have them in. I had my finance boot camp. Let me just say part 1 of many I'll probably be having around finance. I was telling somebody I've worked in 4 states. So, deciphering the codes and the hidden curriculum of finance is always a quite interesting one. But I want to thank Kevin and his team that put together a very thoughtful curriculum, and looking forward to expanded space in that. I had several one-on-ones with members of my leadership team. The executive team as well met. And I had 2 beautiful receptions with the Asian Community Development Council. I want to thank them for their thoughtfulness and kindness. It was a wonderful balance of fun, but also very clear about their commitments in the space, and hoping that we would be more committed with them in these spaces. So I'm quite excited about what we'll see coming down the line with them. And then obviously a friend of the college, Trish Nash, opened her home up just last night to help me understand and meet some of the folks who are very influential in the Henderson community as we think about the impact that this college has, certainly within Henderson, the Las Vegas region, and certainly the southern part of the state. Some campus issues that I want to just bring. Our students are back. I know I started off with that, and that's just really exciting to feel the energy that comes when students are back on campus. I really want to thank our faculty and staff who are meeting them where they are. It's pretty amazing to me to watch how we are, even in the midst of a pandemic, committed to excellence, committed to access, and very thoughtfully committed to producing and creating experiences where students feel a profound sense of belonging to the organization. Classes are in full swing, and I want to point out that to our students in particular, you are required by November 1 to have gone through a full course of vaccination. So I I really think it's important that you follow the timelines. I want to thank all of our phenomenal folks at the college who are putting together notices and thinking deeply about how to help people understand what those commitments are. So again, our students, please pay attention to that. If you have not been vaccinated, I want to encourage you to think deeply about what that timeline means for you, because we want to see you in class. We want you at Nevada State College, and we also want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to remove the burdens that we're seeing right now that come with living in a pandemic. A few observations that I want to share with you and kind of start to move toward the end of this. It is a magnificent time to be a Scorpion, and I am just overjoyed with the way in which I've been welcomed to the community, but also how we're extending that care and thoughtfulness to our students. I had the pleasure the other day of walking in as I watched one of our facilities team members just so gently and deliberately and intentionally wiping down spaces. And I know several of you have been in restaurants or other public venues where you see folks walking around and it's kind of like wipe and kind of, but what I thought was I saw the care in that, and I want to thank him. I didn't introduce myself at that time because I didn't want to disturb, because it was almost as if he were demonstrating his care and compassion for this college community in the way in which he was being very, very, very engaged around his work. And I'm hopeful that each of us are doing the same thing. When we think about students, how you show up in class, that you're being very deliberate about connecting with your faculty member, thinking about the content, but also thinking about your obligations, commitments to each other, being a part of a community. The same thing to our faculty and staff when we think about how we're showing up, whether it be in the classroom, in support services, and all the ways in which we help to make students successful here. I hope that you are also thinking deliberately about the care and the concern that goes with that. I saw this in the welcome back picnics, the fairs we had. Those are awesome affinity events. That to me said a lot about the way in which we want to show up as a community for each other. So I am just continue to be in my happiest space knowing that I've joined a community that thinks so deeply about this. My ask for you as you think about this week going into it, this is a moment where a lot of us are still trying to figure out a few things. In the College of Nursing, the faculty, when they gave me a basket, in the basket they had this sign and it says, "Progress, not perfection." And I was kind of struck by that, and I actually have it sitting right on the table so I can look at it over the next several months and kind of inculcate that in my mind. There are a lot of things happening right now, and literally as I think about some of our folks in HR, our folks in academics who are, literally every day having new perspectives and different ideas being raised with them about how we respond and live in this moment, I ask that we all practice grace. We practice kindness. We practice compassion and caring, because all of this is happening to us, and right now we don't have the ability to affect it, but what we can affect is how we react to it in the moment. So I'm going to practice more patience, more thoughtfulness, and I'm asking you to engage in that. And then gratitude. My gratitude is at a whole different level. I've been all week trying to figure out how to write the appropriate thank you card to our classified employee council. And every time I start off with thank you, it just doesn't seem enough. And I want to tell you, there are many things in my 50 years on this earth that I have been grateful for. And in my 25 years in higher education, I can think of so many things that have deeply touched me about the work we do. But what you all did as a council and our colleagues who joined you to help me remember one of the quintessential moments in my life, which is profound joy and profound grief, and creating a memory of my father here on this campus with me. Thank you seems inadequate, but I am just full. So I want to thank you publicly for what you've done and all of our colleagues who are part of that. This is my living card to you, because I did not know how to write all of this down, but I wanted you to know how profoundly connected I feel to this institution and certainly to the members of our community. So thank you to our classified employee council who led that work and everyone who was a part of that. As I said that day, my soul is full. With that, I'll end my weekly message to you, but I look forward to seeing you next time. May try a written one next week because you might get tired of looking at me. But more importantly, I hope that each of you has a glorious week. practicing kindness and grace and all the things that we know who we are in this moment. Thank you. Take care and be well.